example which we could imbibe is to desist from living in fear when faced with insurgency. Despite the bombing which took place last year in Boston, thousands of runners have come out to take part in an emotional Boston Marathon amid unprecedented security. In last year's race, 2 bombs exploded near the finish line, killing 3 people and wounding more than 260. But the attack has not deterred runners from today's event. More than 36,000 will start. Well, that's 9,000 more than normal. A moment of silence was observed, and here is how preparations went for the event.
The ploy to instill fear in the hearts of Bostonians and competitors from around the world has fallen flat 1 year after the bombing which left 3 people dead and 260 others injured. They are determined to run again despite their experience. 36,000 people set out for the second largest field in the race's 118-year history for the 26.2-mile race that finishes on Boston's Boylston Street, where 2 homemade pressure cooker bombs were placed last year. Security dotted the finish line on Sunday, April the 20th, as runners and fans flocked to take photos and walk along the route. A small makeshift memorial was set up just feet away. As part of increased security measures, racers and supporters will face new restrictions this year, including a ban on backpacks, which the brothers accused in the April 15, 2013 attack were believed to have used to carry the bombs. While the memory of the attacks has hung heavy over Boston through the week of events leading up to the race, excitement fills the air on Boylston Street ahead of the race.
When the event happened last year, I was really angry at the fact that that whole love affair and image of what Boston meant for me was ruined. But, you know, as I speak to my friends, and there are probably about maybe 15 of my running mates who live in a state and in this city that's running this race. And for us, again, it's all about renewal, reclaiming our rightful place at the finish. The excitement is just so palpitating. There is no ways to encapsulate.
Canadian Mark Rush is back this year and plans to finish the race too.
The bad guys aren't going to take this race away from us, and all the people that get involved in it. And it's good to be back doing it again.
Some have been in the business of running for years, and last year's experience will not deter them. It's the 86th edition for longtime runner Claire Carter.
It is very exciting, and it's very cathartic in many ways. Last year we were stunned, those of us that didn't get to finish, and actually all of the participants, about the events. And so this is a way to process that last year event and make it a better ending, a new ending.
Race organizers, the Boston Athletic Association, admitted an additional 9,000 runners this year, in part to ensure that the roughly 5,000 people on the course when the blast occurred get a chance to cross the finish line.
Our colleague from the Voice of America, Caroline Prasuti, is online right now from Boston to speak to us more about the marathon. Now, Caroline, if you can hear me, give us a mood. Give us the idea of the mood in Boston as we speak.
I actually just stepped inside a bank because it's so loud outside the finish line. Let me try to go out this door so I can give you a flavor for the crowd. You can hear the crowd cheering as the runners go by. I'm actually standing directly across the street from the site of where the second bomb exploded last year during this marathon. But what a different sight it is this year. You can hear the claps, the hollers of all the people. There's a helicopter flying overhead, actually 2 military helicopters flying overhead. But there are people hanging out of windows, out of door frames, just cheering on all the runners.
Now, Caroline, can you tell us what participants think about this year's security preparations?
Can you ask that one more time?
How the participants, how confident are they about this year's security preparations?
You know, many of those participants didn't get to finish last year because of the bombing. They were stopped midway through the race. In fact, I spoke to someone who was just 1 kilometer away from finishing the marathon, and she said she's back this year to prove that she can't be beaten. She's back to show that Boston is strong, she is strong, and she will win this race. So we're anxious to meet up with her after she finishes, which will be in about 2 more hours. You know, the first runners finished a little over an hour into the race, which is phenomenal. It was like an hour and 20 minutes, and the woman set a new course record, and it was the first American to win the men's race since the 1980s.
Oh, thanks a lot, Caroline. We'll keep an eye on the story, and then, of course, we'll bring our viewers updates about the marathon